Hi everyone, my name is Ollie. I'm a final year medical student at the University of Warwick in England, and I'm speaking to you today on behalf of Brainbook Academy. Now I, along with many of my course mates and colleagues from all over the UK, recently went through the process of applying for and interviewing for the Academic Foundation programme. So very quickly, what is the AFP? Well, most of you will be very familiar with the Foundation programme, your first 2 years, F1 and F2, as a junior doctor working in hospitals around the UK. The AFP is very, very similar, except the only difference is it gives you some protected time to develop yourself and carry out projects in one of 3 main areas, and these areas are most commonly research, but increasingly we are seeing themed posts available in medical education and medical leadership. Basically skills that we need our future doctors and consultants to have. And so because of this protected time and some additional advantages that can come with these programs, they're quite competitive, and as such there is quite a rigorous application process and a set of interviews that must be done as well. And today I'm going to be going through 5 of the key lessons that I took away from my AFP interviews. And if you're thinking about applying to a more competitive specialty, surgery or even neurosurgery, if you're watching this on Brainbook Academy, then the AFP can be a really nice feather in your cap. First is to know and understand why you want to do an AFP at all. So to start with, that will be deciding on which type of AFP you might like to apply for, research, education or leadership. Do you want these things to be a part of your future career? Why do you think they're important? More crucially, why are you applying in the particular geographic locations you are? You can only apply to 2 academic foundation schools, so a passion and an enthusiasm to come to those particular posts is going to be really, really important. And I have very little doubt that you will be asked, why do you want this job and this type of job specifically? What's in it for you? There may be a whole host of reasons, but having a structure like the CAMP tool, for example, clinical, academic, managerial and personal reasons, that's going to really help you develop a fleshed out and convincing answer to help land you that spot. Lesson number 2 was it's really okay, and actually I would really recommend developing a 10-year career plan for yourself, which should really encompass long and short-term goals. So I would really encourage people to think, what do I want to accomplish during this 2-year academic foundation program? You often get one dedicated academic block that is yours to do with as you will. Actually making it sound like you have a plan for what you want to do with that job can be really helpful, and trying to have something that is achievable and realistic within that 4-month academic job will show that you've thought about it. But then thinking more long term, how is the AFP going to fit into your long-term career plan? Is an AFP important for that career? What do you want to do after your F2? Do you want to go straight into training? What specialty are you thinking about? Would you like to pursue higher academic training? Do you want to be a medical lecturer? Do you want to be an entrepreneur, a leader? I really think it's okay for the context of an AFP to really commit yourself to an idea of where you want to be in 10 years and make it clear that this AFP is going to be an integral part of that. It's something you really want. Because most of us are really goal oriented, and I know for me, having a long-term goal is the thing that keeps me motivated and working day to day. Tip number 3 is do your homework. Do your research a long time beforehand, as early as you can. And what do I mean by this? Well, unlike the normal foundation program, which is handled centrally and all the applications look exactly the same because they're not interested in you as a whole person or your extra skills and aptitudes, the standard foundation program boils down to a few numbers. The AFP is much more holistic, and not only that, but different academic schools, the 15 academic schools in the UK, all differ, sometimes in very minor ways, sometimes in very major ways, as to what they want out of their AFP applicants, what they want to see from you, what their ideal academic foundation doctors are like. This is reflected in not only how your applications are scored against one another, and once again, virtually all of the foundation schools will have this information available on their website. Different places will award different amounts of points for different things. And secondly, the white space questions, these short mini essays about yourself, essentially, that most foundation schools want to see from you. All of them are different. Some of the themes are very similar. Most of them will want to know about your research experience, your leadership and teaching experience and so on. but sometimes schools have very singular academic interests or questions that only they will ask, and therefore seeing them as early as possible and thinking about how you're going to prepare your answers, and if you still have work to do to fill out your CV and prepare for those answers, then that can really help guide you, and the earlier you see those, the better. On to number 4 now, which is practice, practice, practice. I actually found the experience of applying for the academic foundation program to be very, very similar to applying for medical school all those years ago. It's a series of quite specific, slightly odd questions that you simply need to be able to answer with confidence and with knowledge and passion, enthusiasm and excitement, all under a strict time limit and the pressure of an interview. And this means that alongside doing all your prep work and thinking about how your CV stacks up and all the great experiences you've had, you need to practice communicating those to another person. And in my humble opinion, the best way to do that is with people who have already been through academic interviews, whether that is for the academic foundation program, academic clinical fellowships, or if they've applied for PhDs or lectureships. It's most helpful to practice with the people who know what a good answer sounds like and can help steer you if you're not quite ticking all the boxes. Practicing with knowledgeable seniors was, I think, the single biggest thing that made a difference to my application. It really helped me develop the confidence that I needed, the feeling that I was saying the right things and that I had done the right things, that really pushed me through to the end of the process. And if you don't know anyone who's been through these processes, ask for help. You know, your lecturers at medical school, your professors. Reach out on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the rest of it. These are great platforms to make contact with people who have been through these processes and can help get you where you want to be. And 99% of the time, they will be more than happy to help you. And then lastly, number 5, slightly different, but actually the interviews overall were a really, really fantastic learning opportunity, because I came out of the process at the end, having done these 3 quite high pressure interviews, actually feeling that I didn't regret applying at all. And even if I didn't get offered a place on the AFP, I still wouldn't have regretted it, because they are a great flavour of what academic interviews, which are difficult and complicated and demanding, it gives you a taste of what those interviews are actually going to be like. And the questions and the format in which you are asked them is actually very, very similar, I am told by my seniors, to your specialty, your registrar interviews later on. You're just doing them at an earlier stage than most people and actually getting a forward look into the future, because so many of the principles are exactly the same. Academics, integrity, professionalism, teamwork, skills and aptitudes. You will need all these things. And I think simply going through the preparation process and the practice and thinking about your application and who you are and what you want and the drives and motivations and skills that you have can only be a good thing as far as the future is concerned. Thank you so much, guys. That brings us to the end of this video on the Academic Foundation program. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here today on what is one of my favorite YouTube channels, and I wish you all the very best. Please leave any comments or questions down below. Thanks, guys.